The Smarter Money Life podcast is sponsored by Forum Credit Union, a member-owned financial cooperative serving members since 1941. Forum, your trusted financial partner, helping members live their financial dreams every day. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Smarter Money Life, hosted by me, Andy Mattingly. And joining me this season will be a regular co-host and contributor, Nicole Royal, Forum's VP of Lending. I'm excited to have Nicole join me for this season. Nicole, anything you want our listeners to know about you?
Hello, and thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here as the new co-host of Smarter Money Life. I've been with Forum for 14 years now. The past 9 years, I've been on the lending team, and prior to that, I worked in retail branching. Outside of work, I'm a wife and mom of 2 young children. Forum has been an incredible place to grow my career while also supporting me as I've grown my family. I'm looking forward to sharing our insights on today's topics with all of you. Andy, are you ready to share the topic of the day?
Absolutely, Nicole. Now, the start of the new year is a perfect time to set goals. They can really make a difference. But let's be honest, most of us make resolutions that don't stick, right? So today we're going to show you how to use the SMART framework to create goals that you'll achieve. If you've ever struggled to follow through on your New Year's goals, this episode's for you. So Nicole, I'm going to let you remind our listeners what SMART stands for.
Of course. SMART stands for specific. Define exactly what you want to achieve. Instead of save more money, say save $5,000 for a down payment on a house. Measurable. Attach a number or metric so you can track your progress. For example, reduce credit card debt by $200 per month. Achievable. Make sure your goal is realistic for your income, expenses, and lifestyle. Relevant. Choose goals that matter to you and fit your bigger financial plans, like building an emergency fund or saving for retirement. Time-bound. Set a deadline. For example, fully fund my emergency savings by December 31st, 2026.
Yeah, and so, there's a lot of resources that we have out there, so I know this is on a podcast. But for all of our listeners, you can go out on our website and kind of get more details on these things. So now what Nicole and I are going to do is we're going to help you put kind of SMART into action. So we're going to break it down step by step.
Step 1, assess your current financial situation. You need to review your income, your expenses, know your assets, and your total debts outstanding. Calculate your net worth and spot areas for improvement.
So then the next step is to make sure you set clear and attainable goals. And you really want to prioritize what's most important for you, like paying off high interest debt or building savings for something that you want to do. So a great example is to say you want to go on vacation at the end of next year for the holidays, and you know you're going to have $3,000. So that's a clear and attainable goal. Save $3,000 for a vacation.
Step 3, break down your larger goals. Divide big goals into smaller ones, manageable steps. To save $1,200 in a year, set aside $100 per month.
And then the step 4 part of this is you want to automate and track your progress. So you can set up automatic transfers from your savings to investment accounts or other saving accounts. Use budgeting apps or spreadsheets to monitor your progress. You just want to make sure that you automate it and that you're tracking it.
Step 5 is really important. You need to review and adjust regularly. Check in monthly or quarterly and see if you're on track. If you're not, adjust your plan for the circumstances that you're in and make changes that you see fit, just so you can stay on track.
And, so we're going to give you a few examples, to try to inspire you. So let's say you're trying to get to $6,000 for an emergency fund. That's a lot. That's $500 per month. But that can be your goal. If you want to pay off $2,400 in credit card debt, maybe you do that at $200 a month in payments. You want to increase your contributions to your retirement fund, and you want to get to 10% by the end of the year. Well, maybe it's 1% each month. Maybe the other thing is that you want to reduce your monthly expenses by $150 a month. So start with looking at things where you can do, which is maybe getting a cheaper phone plan, getting rid of unused subscriptions, or getting rid of some subscriptions even if you're using some of them. These are some examples that can help you have goals to make a difference in your financial life.
It's really important to set yourself up for success. So start with 1 or 2 priorities that are really meaningful to you so you can avoid being overwhelmed. Make your goals visible. Write them down. Put them up on the refrigerator. Put them in your calendar. Make them there in the front of your mind. And then celebrate along the way. If you save $200 3 months in a row, celebrate that. Get an accountability from a friend, a family member, or a financial advisor. Share your goals with somebody and talk about how you're staying on track.
Now, Nicole, when you say celebrate milestones, what would be your idea of a celebration of the milestones here?
Celebrate by going out on a date. It doesn't have to be a $100 or $200 dinner, but it could be going out for drinks or coffee.
Yeah, those are good things, and I think that's important for people to remember that you can celebrate things that you do. You don't have to go into, oh, we can't spend any money at all mode, right?
Right. You don't want to go into starvation mode.
Exactly. Okay, Nicole, let's move on to kind of our Q&A segment, because we've received some great questions from listeners over the years about how to set financial resolutions.
All right, sounds good. Let's dive in. Why do most financial resolutions fail?
That's great. And you might agree with this too, but they usually fail because they're too vague or unrealistic. If I say I want to save more money, well, what does that mean? Right? And that's why the SMART framework is so powerful. It helps you set clear, achievable goals with deadlines. Another question we often get is, how do I know if my goal is achievable?
This is a great question as well. Start by reviewing your income, your expenses, and your lifestyle. Make sure your goal fits within your budget and isn't so ambitious that you're never going to meet it. For example, if you want to save $5,000 in a year, break it down to the $417 a month it'll take to get there. The important thing is just to be realistic with what you have.
Yeah, and that realistic piece is really important because, some people will set out a goal and say, well, I'm going to save $30,000 this year. Well, do you really know what that takes? Right?
What's an example of SMART financial resolution?
Okay, I want to go back to the emergency fund. And some people can do this. Maybe they've gotten some raises or something. And, it's that save that $6,000 for an emergency fund after 12 months. Now, that's $500 per month. It's specific. It's measurable. In your situation, it might be achievable because maybe you've gotten a large raise and you don't need to, increase your expenses. Or another thing is maybe you've paid your car off. So instead of buying a new car, if your car is looking good, you can take that car payment and put to it. It's relevant because we all need an emergency fund, and it's time bound because you said, I'm going to do this in 12 months. So that's a really good example that's really simple that uses that whole SMART framework to do it. Now, I think one of the things that people struggle with is, and we get this question a lot, well, how can I stay motivated throughout the year?
It's really important to make your goals visible. Like I said before, write them down somewhere, put them up on the calendar, use a tracking app. This way you are able to celebrate your milestones along the way. It's also important to get an accountability partner, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a financial advisor. Again, somebody just to say out loud, these are my financial goals for the year. And then you can have conversations with them and make sure that you're staying on track. What should I do if my circumstances change?
That's a big one because I think we all know that in life, we can have a plan, but that's usually not how it's going to work. So I think the biggest thing is for people to understand is that you have a framework for a plan, but then you're going to adjust. And it doesn't always have to be bad. Maybe you get a huge promotion at work and now you've got more money. So maybe you want to save more or you want to do more. It could be the other way. So you just have to update your plan and make sure it stays realistic. And, we've talked a little bit about tracking it and, on that monthly or quarterly basis. You might get through the first quarter and realize that you need to bring your goals back a little bit. Because I think one of the things that happens is, and we talked a little bit about this when it comes to being motivated to do it, if you get through the first quarter and you see there's absolutely no way you can get to your goals, then you're not going to try. So set goals that you can get to. And I think if you adjust them regularly, you're going to make sure you stay on track.
I think that's such a good point because you don't want to make them so difficult that you're never going to get there because you're not able to have any fun or relax at all. But I think the opposite is true as well. It's okay to adjust goals the other way. If you are finding out that your savings is easier than you thought it was going to be, and actually I could save another $200 a month, it's okay to make those changes as well.
That's a very good point. And I think what happens is people get tied into things and don't realize how they can make those goals. And I think if people start doing this, they'll realize that they can make a lot of other goals. And I think one of the things, and you and I talked a little bit about this before we started, recording this, is that, you want to start with just a handful of goals. But then eventually you can add more goals to it. So it's also too, but don't have like so many goals that you can't track them.
Right.
Right?
Yep. And having that tracking app, there's so many good options out there. It is really eye-opening at the end of the month to look at that app and you realize how much money you're spending in subscriptions or Starbucks or those quick little trips to Target. They add up and then you can realize there is more money there that could be saved.
And, we didn't talk about this, but both you and I have spouses. And so by doing the app and working on this together, if you're tracking it, you both know where everything is, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. These have all been fantastic questions. Remember, making smart resolutions isn't just about money. It's about building habits that support your dreams.
And these habits that support your dreams, whether you're saving for a big purchase, paying down debt, or planning for a retirement, the SMART framework can really help you get there.
Thanks for joining us today. If you want more tips or resources, visit forumcu.com.
And don't forget to tune in next time for more ways to make your money work smarter for you.
Thank you for joining us today. Our hope is that we can help you live your best financial life. For more insights, be sure to subscribe to the Smarter Money Life YouTube channel and also catch the Smarter Money Minute segment every Thursday on Fox 59's Indy Now Lifestyle Show. Remember, reaching your financial dreams is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to making your dreams a reality.